Welcome to another episode of the Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast. Tyler McGurk joining me August 15th, 2021. Tyler, ready to do this?
I'm ready.
How's Emily doing? How's the fam?
The family's good. They're at a little thing for their fallen grandfather who passed away like 9 months ago.
Wow,
But with COVID, they couldn't get everybody together, so they did it now. I'm at their house watching the dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How old was your grandfather?
Old. I don't know exact dates, but he was an old man.
All right. Well, we wish our best wishes definitely to them there at that point there. I speaking of COVID, I ended up getting sick on like Wednesday, probably around like 3:45, driving home from work.
That Delta variant.
I don't have any air conditioner in my car either. It's like 97 degrees driving.
Must have been sweating balls.
And I could just, I can just feel that body temperature start to my throat was starting to itch. And I was like, oh, great. I was like, are you kidding me? And then like Thursday, I woke up not feeling well. I missed work. And usually for me, it's weird. Like, I don't know how you are with being, maybe it's just a man thing, like a male thing, but it's like, I couldn't, I was like, I'll be better Friday. I have too much to do on Friday at work. So as I'm doing that, I realized that I can't, your face you're stuck again. You're stuck again. There we go.
Am I back?
You're back alive there. Yeah. So I'm doing so basically I'm kind of sick. I have to miss work basically on Friday too. I thought I'd be better, but they told me to stay home, especially with now the new stuff going on, that we want to be extra careful and stuff like that. So, And then I ended up taking a COVID test yesterday and got the results back as negative. So that was a big relief there, So that was my first time experiencing that part of it there. So
yeah, my whole restaurant got shut down.
Really?
One of our employees passed from COVID. And then a guy named Damien, a big Hawaiian looking guy. He was very big. He was a very big man.
Yeah,
he was
nice
a good guy.
Though.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice day.
He worked there he was there like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, he died like we shut down. Like this weekend. A bunch of people, we got a big wave of it, and me and Emily are good as far as not having it. But yeah, it's just the first time I was like, oh, this thing's like real, where it affected me. So
yeah, I think I'm still, gosh, I'm going to sound like a jerk here, but I think I'm still a little stubborn about it. I don't know how you are. Like, when I first got it, I didn't really want to get the test. Hannah was like, you should just do it. And I was like, no, I don't want it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to do it. Like, maybe that's just a prideful thing.
Was that you being scared that you might have it?
That's probably part of it too. I'd say that's probably part of it too. I just found it kind of interesting that like my reaction right away wasn't to be more, yeah, sure, I'll do it, just the easy. It was the prideful part of me that didn't want to do that.
For sure.
I ended up doing it though, but I just remember, I don't know, it's just one of those things you wish could just end, I guess. But
I just hate wearing a freaking mask. I'll do it, but I hate it.
Yeah, no, that's the case. Well, your face will freeze probably throughout this thing, but I'm just gonna live with it. I'm just gonna keep talking. Hey, I also realized when I was out for those couple of days, I ended up watching like a decent amount of like things on YouTube or something like that, and I came across this older comedian. Have you ever heard of Don Rickles?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was watching a lot of his stuff. Like, how you sometimes will binge watch. Like, I've been watching some of his old like Johnny Carson appearances and stuff like that. And he was pretty funny. He was actually really funny, but it kind of got me thinking about just comedians in general. And I know that you like comedians. Do you find what do you find funny? Because his style was more like ripping on people. Yeah, that was his way of doing it. Is there a certain style you like, or do you have a comedian out there you like?
There's this Asian guy named Bobby Lee who I love. He's just funny as hell. He says whatever he wants. Like, he will say like racial things, but it's all joking, and he does it. And all the comedians who he has on, white, black, Asian, they all like love him, and and it's just like he rips on people. He rips on social norms and like political correctness. And he has a podcast with this white guy called Bad Friends where they just rip on each other and they yell at each other. And it's just like, it's all stick, but it's just funny.
Have you ever? Okay, like I like comedians too sometimes that are that I've seen on like shows or podcasts. But doing a stand up is kind of different. Do you have like a guy that does stand up that you really like?
I mean, Chappelle's the best.
Yeah, I actually kind of I had him down. I wrote down a few others.
Bill Burr's great.
All right, I like him too. I put down Norm Macdonald. I kind of like that type of humor.
Norm's amazing. Norm is hilarious. He's one of those guys that says whatever he wants to. He just like. Have you seen him on Conan? There's one time where he's on Conan and he's like,
with the blonde lady.
Oh, I got you this gift basket, but no, this is just with him and Conan. I got you this gift basket. It was like congratulations on the Tonight Show, but well, here we are on TBS. But here you go.
And he's just and the way he delivers the jokes are well. I've always liked Chris Rock too. I always liked his like kind of some of his stuff. We're talking stand up, like you know what I mean specifically here.
Yeah.
I remember him. Hana didn't remember this. I thought she would. Do you remember him hosting the MTV?
Oh, for sure. 99.
Yeah, I love the. I don't remember. I'm gonna ruin it, but like he's like, the Olsen twins are here. He's like, yeah, let's give them a round of applause. He's like, yeah, the Olsen twins are there, so we had to put R. Kelly way up there.
Yeah, he has some great. And that was before all the like real like the accusations came out.
Yeah. That was. And then he also had the Jennifer Lopez limo for her ass. He's like, you should be thanking your ass. He's like, other guys I got to throw out too. I like Robin Williams too. He was always good in stand up. He was kind of sometimes over the top, but I always like just the energy he brought was always good.
He was just a mile a minute.
Oh, I know. And then I kind of like from a female's perspective, I kind of like that one. I'm going to ruin her last name, but I think it's Amy Poehler or something. She's actually pretty funny.
Poehler.
Yeah, I find her.
The SNL lady?
Yeah, she's pretty hilarious. She's been in some movies too. Funny. I like Jamie Foxx too. Some of his stuff is good. Do you remember when he used to host the ESPN Awards?
The ESPYs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You should go back and watch the YouTube one of when he's singing a song to Serena Williams. If that
it's hilarious.
If that doesn't make you laugh, I don't
Everybody should go listen to that.
That's just like as good a comedian or a comedic act as you could do right there. And like she's super embarrassed about it. That's the most hilarious part to me. So I don't know. I just got into like the comedians part of it. Have you ever seen a stand-up act before?
Live? No. I've seen a lot like HBO or Netflix, but not live.
Not live. The only guy I saw live, it was the Frank Caliendo guy, but he was, a little different crowd for something like that.
Yeah, it's a different type of stand-up.
But yeah, I did that. So as I was watching the doing the comedian thing, I was on Netflix as well, and I haven't watched it yet, but I saw that Malice in the Palace documentary's out.
Yeah.
Are you gonna watch that thing?
I watched it.
You did? What did you think?
I watched the first couple episodes.
Okay, what do you think?
It was good. It was interesting. Gives the athletes a lot better perspective on why they were in the crowd, like other than just and Jermaine O'Neal running and could have killed that guy. I still feel like that would have been, if he didn't slip, one of the nastiest punches you've ever seen.
Oh yeah, the guy that he squares him up right there on the bench there. I haven't seen it, so I'm interested. So you're so far the thing that you like the most about it is the player's perspective on it.
Yeah. The worst part is actual basketball. It's with the 69-65 final scores. You're like, what the hell is going on?
Our guy P Shark tweeted something like that. I saw he's like 59 with 4 minutes left. I was like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. Do you remember where you were that day? So let me give you the date. November 19th, 2004. You would have been in high school still, right?
Yeah, I think I just got home from baseball practice or football practice. One of the two. And I just was
right
in my
away?
back room turning on the game, and it was a blowout, and the Pacers were winning. And I went and took a shower, and I got out, and there was everyone was on the court, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" So I had to wait for after the game because I don't think I had TiVo or
no, there's no DVR
anything like that back then. So I had to
Yeah.
wait for Sports Center to see it all. And I was like, "What the heck did I just miss?"
Oh my God. I remember, I don't remember if I was upstairs or downstairs, but I remember watching it and I just was like, what the hell? That's crazy. That's crazy. You know, just something you'll never see probably ever again. So, so do you think it's worth watching then?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're and you were alive then and you know the backstory for most of it, or what you think is the backstory. Yeah, it's very interesting.
I'm pretty sure Steven Jackson will be a pro player on this argument.
Well, they all are pro player.
For sure. I was maybe think of any other sports documentaries I kind of liked. Do you have any others? I kind of like that Free Solo one with the guy climbing by himself. That was actually a pretty good one.
I never seen that one.
Oh man, crazy. I mean, if you're climbing a mountain with no rope, it's pretty crazy.
A little psychotic. The Last Dance, obviously.
Yeah, that was a good one. They like a couple of other random ones. I like this one called Shot in the Dark. It was on Fox about 2 years ago about these Chicago high school kids. It was pretty good. I think Dwayne Wade actually produced it. And then of course Hoops of Dreams. That was always my favorite one.
Hoop Dreams. There's also this one with this white kid who went to Fresno State who got into all these drugs and stuff. Have you seen that? I don't know what it's called. I wasn't really prepared.
Oh, yeah. He played for the Celtics, right, or something for a little bit?
Yeah. He played under Tarkanian at Fresno State.
Yeah, you're right. That was a good one.
He went to Boston College, I believe, to start, but that was his hometown, and he'd get in too much trouble. So
yeah,
Tarkanian took him to. That was a good one. I wish I knew the name of it.
I those 30 for 30s are so good. I like those things so much. There's I always like the kind of random ones too. There's that random Big East one or something like that. That's my favorite.
Well, that's a real good one.
That's my favorite one out of all of them. It's you would think another one, but yeah, I'm really into sports documentaries for sure. We'll take a little break here, but I think later in the show we'll get into baseball and we can kind of talk about Field of Dreams, and not quite a documentary, but I'm interested to get your thoughts on the game and the nostalgic part of it, and to see if you actually even like the movie or not, Tyler. So we'll get into that here in a minute. But we'll also get into later. I want to get Tyler's thoughts on Summer League and does it matter? There's some good performances so far. We're going to look back at some other good performances in Summer League past and has it translated to the pros always. So we'll get into that. A few little baseball notes later, but next we're going to have Brian Johnson on, Baby Chef. We're going to talk a little NFL here real quick, get his thoughts on Trey Lance. We'll kind of go over some of our favorite NFL players and some nicknames we also enjoy as well, because Brian, as we know, is the man of nicknames. So we'll be back here. All right, welcome back to the Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast. Brian Johnson, the mother of all nicknames.
Special guest.
We'll get into that part of the show later with the NFL. Smile, big man. Come on, you're back on the show. Hey, welcome back. How you doing? How you doing over there? Cheer up. Niners just had a good game yesterday, right? We'll get into that a little bit here. What's going on?
Season game.
I bet you're fired up. NFL back.
Yeah, this is my time of year. I'm a big NFL fan, so.
You're a time of year. Now, the thing I always like about you at the NFL is that you'll call me to be like, yeah, I took Friday off. I'll be like, why'd you take Friday off? You're like, well, because Thursday night football's back. And I'll just start laughing. I love it. It's that's how much you love football. You'll take the day off. You'll use your vacation days for the next day after work. So I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing this year too.
Oh, are you? Okay. So taking that Friday off, nice little 3-day. Do you take the Thursday off or the Friday or both?
I'm doing the Thursday because Matt Lunsel's going to be coming down and visiting.
Wow, Matthew Lunsel, shout out. How are you doing that?
Lunsylvania. How's that tall, lanky, sharp-elbowed son of a bitch doing? Doing good?
He's doing good.
Played against him 2-on-2. He can still hit that elbow jumper, and he still has sharp elbows.
The sharpest elbows I've ever played against.
Tall, lanky guy. But I think he would admit this. His still conditioning is the issue a little bit. Lasting a lot of time, but he's doing good. It was fun to catch up with him. Well, that'll be fun to do that with him. Did you watch any of the Niners game yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I watched mainly the first half because I wanted to check out Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Tyler, did you watch it all?
Yeah, I watched the first 3 quarters. I watched a little bit of Rosen, and I was like, I can't handle any more of this.
Okay, so let's get Brian's take on it first, though. Brian, game starts. What'd you think? Jimmy G, Lance, initial thoughts. Go.
I thought Jimmy G, for the time that he played, I thought he looked sharp. I thought he looked better than he did last year.
And Lance?
I said, Lance, man, that throw that he made. I think he said he threw an 80-yard touchdown, and the longest Jimmy Garoppolo's thrown in his whole career was 75 yards. So he already beat him.
Tyler, does that put him ahead now?
No.
That one throw put him ahead?
No. Lance did enough to where you could see his talent and ability, but he still made like 3 throws that should have been intercepted that were just bounced off guys' hands. I was like, oh God. But he has the talent. I like the pick. But
he was 5 for 14. He didn't even throw 50%. So that's not very good.
But I mean, you could tell the throws that he threw that he's got talent and that there's just certain things he could do that Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't.
So we had Mateo on a couple of weeks ago, and he made the point that he thinks Kyle Shanahan won't be able to. That's a little signal just to Tyler, by the way. Kyle Shanahan won't be able to resist the new toy, and that because of Lance's ability, and he even tweeted about it yesterday. He's like a big Niners fan as well. I'm with Tyler on the thought earlier that Jimmy G should start. He should get the chance. But then we have Mateo on, and he made the point that he's not Lance. It's just something Kyle Shanahan hasn't had before, and he won't be able to resist it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Go ahead, T.
I don't know. I mean, eventually Lance is going to play. They gave up way too much to.
But should they start him right now?
No, absolutely not. He went 5 for 14 and should have thrown 3 picks in the first half.
Brian, last time you were on the podcast, you said you wanted Lance to start right away. You said that he should be starting. Or do you still feel that same way now?
No, I would say unless Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt, that it's Jimmy
Garoppolo's
job.
Yeah. You switch. Why?
I just think he's more of like a veteran, and he just there's certain things that Lance is going to have to, learn before he can become a starting quarterback in the NFL.
He played his first game in 2 years last night. He's not ready. It's going to take a little bit. He has all the skills. You can see the arms ridiculous. He can move. He's very good at taking sacks. He gets down like Peyton Manning sometimes where you're like, well, he did take a hit at least.
All right, well, that's my next question then. Will Shanahan be able to stick to the process? Like, that's the thing. Like, he has this new toy. I don't think he's going to be able to. I think week 4, let's say they're 2-2, Brian, lost to the Lions, right? A loss to the Packers. You guys
they're not going to lose to the Lions. Come on.
They lose to the Lions. He might come out after week 1.
All right, your first 4. All right, let me give you your first 4 games. You got at Lions, at Eagles, versus Packers, versus Seahawks. The Seahawks.
I say we're 2-0 playing the Packers.
Okay, but how about the next 2? You got their home games too, Packers and Seahawks.
I wouldn't be surprised if they use them kind of like Taysom Hill, where they bring him in on certain packages.
Yeah, they're going to do that.
He's not going to start over Jimmy Garoppolo right now.
I give you that. But I still believe that I just feel like week 4 is the big week. So that's a tough schedule, I feel like, to start out with. The Eagles and Seahawks, or the Eagles, Seahawks, and what was the other team? Packers, I said. That's 3 pretty tough teams. The Lions, maybe, first game of the year.
The Eagles are tough.
Well, I mean, they're not horrible.
The Eagles are
pretty bad.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know. Like, I always feel like those first 2 weeks, sometimes the bad teams can kind of catch you off guard a little bit once in a while. That's my theory. Like, I can see the Lions come out a little bit. It's a little hot the first week. We'll see. Let's see what happens. So I'm predicting.
I feel like the Niners want to get back at the Eagles because they beat the crap out of us on Sunday night last year. So I feel like that we will definitely dominate the Eagles in that game.
That is a good point there. I'll give you that.
I mean, the Eagles are tough to play on the road. That's my only sort of where I think it'll be close, but I don't think the Eagles are a good team. I'm just not buying Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurd as your like.
I guess that's kind of good though. You play the bad teams in the NFC East. According to you guys, the worst teams on the road, and then you get to play the better NFC East teams at home. So that actually kind of works out well for the Niners schedule wise. Well, I'm gonna say those first 4 games are pretty big. I just kind of hate preseason in general. That's just kind of my. It's just, you know what I mean. Like, it's just one of those things where there's a few things you can watch here and there, but it's like, let's get to the game. Let's get to the real things. Like one series, you know what I mean? Then I don't know. Like, somebody help me with this.
I'm with you. It's awful. It's just bad. Every game ends like 13-9, 16-13. There's no creativity. There's no game planning. They're not trying to do anything other than like stay healthy.
I got to start looking.
It's not real life football.
Most of our big guys were out anyways, like Bosa, D Ford, Moser didn't play, Kyle.
And they still make you pay full price for this crap. Are you kidding me? I remember my dad would have preseason games and they'd be like, $69, still charging you $69 a seat for this stuff. This is ridiculous. This was it. Like, this is like the 4th straight quarterback here. What are we doing here? Anybody else stand out to you in the Niners game? The receiver maybe that caught the touchdown, or anybody on defense, or anything stand out to you? Bad referee?
Yeah, really. That Sherfield guy, Trent Sherfield, he caught the ball and ran away from defenders. And I feel like most receivers, when they like catch a ball like that, they normally get caught from behind. Like, and I was impressive. I always hear about him doing well in training camp. So I don't know. Keep an eye on him.
Yeah, there's always like,
he looks like he could be the number 3 receiver. I mean, I think they were saying whether Sanu was going to be it, but he looks like so far that he's the runaway favorite for the number 3 receiver.
And Debo's going to have a huge year. Mark my words. He's better than IU. Yeah. He's underrated right now. He's a stud.
Wise, I thought you were saying steal of the year. So your little
fantasy. He's going to have 1,400 plus yards rushing and receiving.
Jeez, that's a massive year.
Yeah, they need to learn to like throw the ball to him down the field. They kind of do these jet sweeps with Debo, and he kind of gets beat up. You know what I mean? And
I like that take.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, no, he needs to. I think we talked about that too a few weeks ago. Was the same thing. Was they try to use him more down the field? That would be pretty good. Anything else with the Niners or those? It's too hard in a first preseason game, really, right? Lance and them.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to tell with the defense because so many guys were sitting. That's like if Bosa and D Ford are in there, it's a totally different defensive squad.
Those guys probably play us.
Well, we held Mahomes to 1 for 2, so I think Mahomes might have a bad year this year.
He's 50%.
Preseason football, baby.
People need to keep going after that ankle.
We'll do that. But yeah. Oh, Brian, you're always
going. Cankle?
Brian's always going for good quarter. He's wanted Tom Brady dead for 15 plus years. But he's still going strong. We'll probably get into NFC predictions more next week. I think we're going to start having you on a little bit every week. We'll start doing predictions for standings and going into the season as at least the second week of the preseason goes through here. So we have kind of a little bit more time to look at the teams, because the first game is like September 14th. It's still quite a ways away, right?
Yeah, I mean, that technically the first game is September 9th. The third.
September, okay. Game. Who is it? Bucks Saints? Is that what it is? Bucks Saints?
No, Bucks Cowboys.
Cowboys, of course, the Cowboys. What was I thinking?
Brian, you've always been a big Cowboy fan as far as with Tony Romo, and did you still carry on that Cowboy liking tradition, or is that gone?
No, I mean I just like Romo. I didn't like I wouldn't say I like the Cowboys.
Speaking of liking Romo, let's get into our next segment here. We're gonna do with Brian, which is we're gonna do NFC only. We're gonna go through each team here in the NFC. We each kind of were assigned a team, and we're gonna pick our favorite player from those teams. Maybe bring back some memories, have a little conversation about it. But just your favorite player from that team. So we'll start with the Cowboys there. That was me right there. That's my favorite Cowboys player. I couldn't really, I didn't want to go 90s Cowboys. Like, I just didn't feel like Emmitt Smith and those guys, like, they were the best. So I was kind of trying to go with the new generation of Cowboys. And the only guy I kind of somewhat liked, I could somewhat stand, was DeMarcus Ware. So I put him as my favorite Cowboy in there. I kind of like Sean Lee too, but he's hurt all the time, so I couldn't pick him as well. So that was my favorite Cowboys player. That was a tough one for me.
I thought the betting favorite was Amari Cooper.
Not Amari Cooper. All right, Tyler, let's go through team by team. Let's go with you next, the Eagles.
I went with Brian Dawkins. He just was fun safety to watch. His mic'd ups are the best in NFL history, maybe. He just was an exciting player. Number 20 had that dark visor. And it was
he was a beast. He was a beast. They have so many good players to choose from. That's why I told Savage.
Yeah, the Eagles had a lot. I was like Deshaun Jackson, Brian Westbrook, T.O.
I would definitely go with McNabb. He was my favorite player on the Eagles.
Yeah,
Savage is, I think, favorite player on me.
No, his favorite was Dawkins too.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. All right, Brian, let's go with you, Giants.
With the Giants, I would probably go
Barry
with,
Bonds.
Jeff Kent.
I would probably have to go with Eli Manning.
All right, big Eli. What an easy choice that was.
That's your favorite Giant? You love those Manning brothers, don't you?
I'm kind of surprised you didn't go with the Gap 2 player.
Jason Strahan.
Yeah, or Jason Sehorn. Either one of those guys.
The last white quarterback of NFL.
Yeah, he was at least decent.
I don't know. There were like the Giants weren't really like a sexy team, so there wasn't like a lot of players that stood out on their team.
The white quarterback, that is the myth of the football, right? The white running backs come back a little bit with McCaffrey and a few guys over the years, but the quarterback is dead. It's dead. We dominate punting. We dominate.
The white quarterback has been guillotined.
We get the easy job there. All right, I go Redskins. We'll go through this a little quicker. I got Champ Bailey.
What was that? You can't use racial slurs on our podcast.
Oh, shit. Football team. Champ Bailey. I thought that was kind of an easy decision there. Nobody else really even came to my mind other than Gus Farrar.
Harold Green. Slamming his head into the end zone wall.
Gus. All right, let's go to the NFC. Let's go to the South here. Brian, we'll start you off. Bucks. Yeah, you got the Falcons.
I would say my favorite Bucks player of all time was Mike Allstott.
Mike Allstott. What was his nickname again? He had a good name. Was it? Or he didn't have a nickname. It was just Chris Berman going boom. Like that's all.
Yeah, he really made the boom sound, boom, boom.
Yeah, he was unreal at the 2-yard run. No, he was actually pretty good overall. Actually, he kind of surprised me as he got older. He actually got better at the little like 4 or 5 yard runs. Good choice there.
And I think he was on the Madden cover one year, right?
No, that was Peyton Hillis.
There's another white running back.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I would definitely go with Derek Brooks. But to me, it was would be Warren Sapp too, but he was just kind of too annoying with his mouth. I could stand everything else there.
Rondé.
Tyler, Falcons.
This one's easy. Dion.
Prime time.
It's prime time. He is what everybody knows who he is, what he was about. He was the first one to do it, really. Maybe Ricky Henderson.
You could go with Michael Vick too.
Yeah,
I love my dog.
I knew you were going to bring up a dog joke.
It's pretty easy fishing.
I don't think Rudy would like that too much, Brian. I don't think Big Rudes would like that too. Steve Smith, Panthers. That was an easy one for me. Definitely the best Panther in my lifetime. Except for I did kind of enjoy Jake Delhomme there for a few years passing.
Yeah, I know. Jake Delhomme.
It's all right.
They played the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
And I like Kuechly too. Newton for the one.
Dan Morgan, Greg Olson.
Good old Dan. Yep, Dan was good there. All right, Brian, back to you, Saints.
The Saints, I think everyone's favorite is Drew Brees.
Good old Drew there. I think.
What about Reggie? What about Reggie?
I gotta say, my favorite Saint would have been Deuce McAllister. Drop a Deuce McAllister. Would have
the Deuce is loose.
That would have been my favorite one out there, for sure. All right, let's go. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with the North and the West, and then we'll finish it off with some nicknames here with Brian on the Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast. All right, we're back with Brian and Tyler here. We're going to finish up the podcast here. Start a little quick there. All right, we'll go through our favorite players still. Let's go to the NFC North now. Brian, we'll start with you again. Your favorite team in the NFC. I had to give you this team just to get your reaction on it. The Packers. Who's your favorite Packer?
Oh, man.
I had to give you this one.
Oh, man, I'm probably going to have to go Ahman Green out of all those guys.
Ahman Green out of all of them, out of all the players. Is it because Brett Favre?
I can't go Brett Favre. I can't go Aaron Rodgers.
Or how about Antonio Freeman? The best catch ever on Monday
night. Dorsey Levin?
Dorsey? I guess I could have went Donald Driver.
Right up here.
Leroy Butler. They had some great players. Reggie White. Come on, Brian. They had some really good ones there.
Darren Sharper, the serial rapist.
Oh my gosh. He's the one that got for the team. Brian Tyler's going, man, he's going really in today on some stuff. All right, so I was curious to get your Packer one there. Ahman Green, one of the worst names you could have chose, but folks, you can comment on that one here in a few. All right, Tyler. The Bears, what are your favorite teams?
I went with Devin Hester.
Justin Fields. No.
I was almost like one little preseason. No,
come on, you should have went Rex Grossman.
Me and Darren talked about it, actually. Sexy Rexy.
That was a good choice there. You let him do it.
That's one of the jerseys I got, Rex Grossman.
Devin Hester, you are ridiculous, is one of the best calls you.
Do you think he'll make the Hall of Fame? He's in there.
He shouldn't, but he will.
He's up for ballot next year. All right, Lions for me, easy choice. Not Barry Sanders. I didn't see him enough, so I went Megatron.
Oh, I'd go Barry.
Yeah, well, I just didn't see him quite enough to where I remember it quite enough. So I got to go with Megatron, just being a freak of nature. Tyler, back to you, Vikings.
I went with the other freak of nature at wide receiver, Randy Moss.
I also enjoyed Randall. He was also not Cunningham.
I feel like
defensive tackle.
John Randall. I was like, yeah. I think Randy made Randall, but
no,
yeah, Randy's the greatest receiver I've seen.
Dante Culpepper, nice little shout out there. Some of the biggest legs in the world. Raider, ex-Raider.
What about Jeff George?
Another ex-Raider for a year. Another ex-Raider. The Raiders have every quarterback in the history of the world. Everybody that was playing quarterback for the Raiders during Al Davis's time. Kerry Collins even got in. All right, so Randy Moss, that was a pretty obvious one. All right, let's go to the bread and butter here, the NFC West. Brian, let's start out with you. Your favorite team in the NFC West, the Seahawks. Who are you gonna pick as your favorite Seahawk? Or no, the Seahawks. No, my bad.
I have the Seahawks.
Tyler's got the Seahawks. Go ahead, Tyler.
I went with Cam Chancellor. I felt like he was the
come on,
intimidator of the Legion of Boom.
Brian Bosworth.
I don't give a hoot about. I never saw Brian Bosworth play one play. I've seen him get run over by Bo 100 million times, but
you see him probably acting more. You saw the longest yard.
But I went with Chancellor over the other guys, other Legion of Boom guys, just because he always killed the Niners. He almost murdered Vernon Davis on one play.
Yeah, he was a beast. I loved using him at Madden too. He was unreal.
Yeah, you could.
It was unreal. Ryan, that probably would have been your choice, I'm guessing. You can't go Bosworth. You got to go somebody else. How about the other safety?
Tavares Jackson,
or the other safety. He's still playing. What's his name?
Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas. Yeah, he was a beast too. That's a good choice. All right. I'm going to go Cardinals. Mine, Brian. I mean, is there any doubt who I'm picking for the Cardinals?
Anquan, baby.
Oh, Anquan. No doubt about it. Anquan Bolden at Brian Johnson's house watching the first game. I was glued ever since then, seeing him lose to the Lions somehow with 180 yards receiving at like 12 catches. So Bolden, the easy choice for me.
A fun fact for Bolden, that rookie year, he was the second receiver the Cardinals took out of Florida State. The first was like Bryant Johnson, or Bryant, something like that.
He also went to the Cardinals.
Yeah, they were drafted the same year.
Yes.
First round was that guy. Second round was Bolden out of Florida State. And Bolden was way better. It's like, how the hell do you do this? They're like, this like I guess. But
does anybody remember the quarterback of the Cardinals that day?
Yeah, he's African-American. Jeff Blake.
There you go. Good knowledge there, Brian. There you go. Brian Johnson. I remember rooting for him because, of course, Brian Johnson. I was a big fan. All right, we're gonna save the Niners for last. Let's go back to Tyler here with the LA Rams. Who do you got as your favorite?
Well,
player?
I went back to St. Louis, and it was the end of the turf team. What was the greatest show on turf? So with Mark Bolger to syndicate the death of the greatest show on turf to give the Niners a chance at the division again.
So he's your favorite Ram of all time. Right,
if I'm doing it for real, it's Marshall Faulk.
I would definitely say Marshall Faulk. It's got to be him. He was
Marshall.
And Kurt Warner was good though too. You can't underestimate like some of those throws he made. I feel like early on,
it's so weird how he had like that great start to his career. That was terrible, and then on the Cardinals he was good again.
Just those. I mean, he can't be good enough. He's not better than Marshall Faulk, no doubt about it. He's not even better than Isaac Bruce in some ways. Those guys, but. Some of those throws he would make down the field in the pocket, those still amaze me today. Not the easy ones. I'm talking the ones where, like the next year where he started to get lit up and like he was still making throws. Like he was really good at that. Brian, Niners.
I got to go with my favorite Niner of all time is Garrison Hurst.
Garrison Hurst. That shocks me. I am stunned.
I'm speechless. I like the pick. I like how you went out of the box. I enjoy it. What's the most memorable moment Garrison Hurst had for you as a Niner other than breaking his leg in the NFC Championship or NFC Divisional?
I would say when we were playing against the Jets and he just that run that he made when he stiffed arm a guy and then he just ran. I mean that run was crazy.
It was a great stiff arm, that's for sure. In overtime, the longest overtime winning run ever.
What really sucked was we were playing the Falcons in the divisional, and then that's when he broke his ankle. I think we would have had a good chance to knock him off. That changed the whole game when he got knocked out of that. I think it was like it might have been the first or second play of that game.
It was. I was at a CYO game.
He it says here he joined the Niners in '97. He was drafted by the Phoenix Cardinals and then became the Arizona Cardinals. Then played a year at the Bengals. Then he was having a pretty bad career. And then he ended up with the Niners. And then '98 is probably the year you're talking about, Brian. He had 310 carries and he had 1,500 yards rushing with 7 touchdowns. And he had a good year. And then he came back the next year, or then he got hurt in that playoff round. Missed the next 2 years, and then came back in 2001 and had a 1,200-yard season. So that was good. Tyler, who's yours?
My favorite Niner of all time?
Yeah.
Young.
Easy? Or is there?
Yeah, I mean, it's what made he was the one who made me a Niner fan. I was like, man, this guy, it looks like he's just throwing little lollipops and just end up in Jerry Rice's hands every time. Like, never threw the ball like hard, except for the Owens catch. Owens.
My favorite Niner, without a doubt, would be Jerry Rice. No doubt about it. He was he was just automatic. He was the most fun to watch, and he played for the Raiders a little bit, so that would be part of it. All right, so that's our favorite players there. That was good. Let's go with some nicknames because we got Brian on here. He's the king of nicknames. 2 sides of potatoes. We got everything.
B period, J period.
Period, J period's a great one. I love that one.
My Giant.
My Giant's also a good one there. We got some good ones for Brian. He's always receptive. He's always been very good with it. And let's not underestimate Brian's ability to throw us nicknames as well. He might not be doing it here on the podcast yet. He's still getting comfortable, ladies and gentlemen, but he is very good at throwing those insults back. So stay tuned for those, hopefully, moving forward. All right, so let's think of some sports nicknames we like or don't like. Tyler, this was your idea, so I'll let you get started out with some nicknames that why you kind of
like. So. I mean, some of the funny ones are Larry Bird's the French lick, or the hick from French Lick. To see, it's a little. The Flying Tomato by Shaun White, the snowboarder. Quadri, the Missile Ismail. I was like, that's just a robbery of Raheem Ismail, the Rocket. Like, I don't want my older brother's nickname with a different missile rocket. And then the best one I saw was Lester the Molester Hayes. You're gonna nickname me the Molester? I'm gonna swing on you. You can't call me that.
Lester the Molester. I got a couple. I got NBA, got White Chocolate. I like that. That was always good.
That's a good one.
Skip to my Lou, Rain Man, Pistol. Those were some ones that kind of stood out to me that I always liked. Fighting, I liked Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Never watched him, but I just liked the nickname Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Oh, it sounded real. And I never liked this guy either, but Real Deal Holyfield. I always thought that went really well together. So those are two names from the fighting game I had. NHL, I had to look up a few just to remind myself. This was kind of a creepy one. The guy's nickname was the Grim Reaper. That wasn't a good.
What was that?
Some guy fought. Let's see if I look at his name on this one. He was a fighter. Let's see if I can look his name out of but
I have a couple more nicknames while you're looking.
His name was Stu Grimson. I also got Super Mario. I always liked that one. For Mario, and then MLB. But these are two of my favorite ones: the Big Unit and the Big Hurt. Those are like two of my favorites. Like just fit so perfectly. I felt like with them. And then NFL. I never saw these guys play, but their nicknames I'm jealous of: Sweetness and the Snake, the Raiders quarterback. Obviously, Sweetness is Walter Payton. So those are a few of the ones I liked a lot. Any other ones that Brian that you could throw in there?
Big Country.
I think the best one, the best one is Booger McFarland. I don't think anything beats that. The guy on ESPN that played with the Bucks as a defensive lineman.
How about Swaggy P?
Swaggy P.
Doesn't
even make any sense.
Go ahead, Brian.
We definitely have to go with Big Country, Bryant Reeves.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
And then there was a boxer. His name was John Morrison, but his nickname was the Great White Hope.
He later died of AIDS.
Yeah.
Mean Joe Green. Oh, that was good. That's a good nickname for it. I was trying to get a reason.
I always thought Wayne Gretzky's had a good nickname, the Great One.
But how about nicknames now?
What about Adam Dunn's the Big Donkey?
That's a good one. Hold
on. I have a couple fighters that why would you want your nickname to be Sweet Pea? That was Pernell Whitaker's. I don't want to be Sweet Pea. And then Pretty Boy before Money Mayweather. Don't call me a pretty boy. I'm a fighter.
He liked it probably, right? I don't know. That's always fun looking back at nicknames. Like they're the kid. There's always ones that stood out to me more than others that you kind of like. But there's none now that really stand out to me. I couldn't like.
There's one that stands out that's coming up. Have you heard Kaminga's new nickname?
What's that one?
The Cum Bucket. Can you imagine? The cum bucket is oozing with confidence.
Oh, come on. Why we got to go there?
That's his. Look it up on Google. Look it up.
Well, I'm not. That's a tough one to call. There's a few other ones that were like that. I remember on NBA Live, they had the nicknames, and we kind of would be like, "What? That's his nickname." I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I know there's
the Sanchez for Mark Sanchez.
Oh, there's the one. I remember it was Stockton. His nickname was Stock. Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, that's the one. It wasn't offensive, but I was like, that's not
real creative.
No effort there. Oh, that was the one. Hornacek. His nickname was Horny. That's what it was. That was what it was. So it's like an eighth grader. I was like, oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's funny. I was like, really? That's his nickname. Brian, before you get out of here, a fun preseason fact I wanted to throw at both you guys. We said preseason doesn't matter. And just to prove it, the Ravens, though, even though they're a quality team, they have now won 18 straight preseason games after yesterday's win. Isn't that insane?
Yeah. That's crazy. They haven't lost a preseason game since 2015.
So does that mean they would have the record, right? If they went 18? No, what's the Dolphins' record, right?
18.
18. So
no, 14.
The Patriots went 19-0 and then lost, right?
Yeah.
So I guess the Patriots technically have the longest win streak at 19 currently. Now, in our, there's probably I'm not gonna look it up right now. Probably
the Patriots won like
23.
They won games before that season that were.
Yeah, you're right. So they kind of ended up winning more than that too. Yeah. So the Ravens on it. That's a random fact. 18 straight preseason games. We'll see if they can win another 3 this year. All right, Brian, thanks for joining us this morning.
No problem.
Look forward to having you on next week too. We'll kind of go over some of the AFC stuff, and then we'll get into some standings. Hopefully, we'll probably focus on the AFC next week, do the standings for them too. So early look at it. So thanks for joining us, big man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. All right,
man. We'll talk to you later.
Adios, amigo.
All right, me and Tyler will be back with a little take on Summer League and finish it up with some thoughts on baseball here real quick, and then we'll call it a day.
Does Brian ever give good?
All right, welcome back. What was that, sir?
Nothing. It's not the nicest thing to say.
All right. So Field of Dreams. Let's get into baseball. We'll kind of some quick little topics here. We'll call it a podcast here. It's been good. NFL back. It kind of livens things up back again here a little bit. The Field of Dreams things. I was really into that this week. For people that don't know, MLB had a game in Iowa, and for the first time, and they did it right across from where they filmed Field of Dreams. I enjoyed it. It was awesome. The game turned out being awesome as well. Costner was there. He did his little weird walk out to center field like he was acting. Then the players come out through the corn. They do that whole thing. They line up on the bases. I thought it was kind of cool that Andrew Vaughn got to play in the game as well, being from Sonoma County. What was your thoughts of it? Do you even like the movie Field of Dreams?
Well, the movie's okay. I think it's overrated. I'm not a huge Field of Dreams guy. It's not even really a baseball movie. It's just about baseball is the background of what makes the movie. It's more about relationships and stuff.
More like dad and son.
Yeah, and baseball is just the rock, I don't know. I'm bad with.
Well, you said it was boring. You said you didn't like it. Right?
It is. Yeah, it's not that. It's kind of. That's why I said it's not really a baseball movie. It's not that exciting.
See, I enjoy the nostalgic part of that movie a little bit. I think too much. I enjoy them going on the little trip there to find the little small moonlight grand with one at bat and those type of things.
Yeah.
And then the part with his end, that part at the end with his dad, that part always catches you a little bit. So I was really into it, and it turned out to be the stadium was awesome. I mean, that you got to admit, everything looked pretty cool.
It looked great.
This
isn't the first year they've done this, though, is it?
Yeah, they've never played a game in Iowa.
Oh, really?
No, they did last year. They did the stupid London thing. It's put a game in the United States. It's what are we doing? Yeah. I thought it was awesome. To have the Field of Dreams as the background, and then to have the cornfield, and then the team hits 7 home runs combined. I don't know. I just thought it was they couldn't have asked for anything more.
Yeah, it was perfect.
The walk off.
Who?
Anderson.
Yeah, it was just a great game in general. And then you have all the backstory, or we're doing a Field of Dreams, so you get a little extra press, get a couple more eyes on it. And then the game's just amazing. And so people stay tuned in, and you get the highest rated game since 2 regular season games since 2005 or something.
I guess it was the most watched game since the 2016 World Series, which was the Cubs and Indians. So that tells you a little bit about people that were just watching the game, people that aren't even baseball fans checked it out. I was really into it the whole time. Where would you want to see them do it again? A different stadium this time? They are going to do it again in Iowa next year, or I've heard. Hopefully they do the A's and Red Sox, since they were the other teams in Field of Dreams in that movie. So hopefully they don't. But my guess is they'll do Cubs, Dodgers, or something like that. So anyways, but where would you like to see them do a game like this at? If you had to
I don't
kind of
know if
dream
it's
a scenario.
I don't know if it's feasible, but the Sandlot.
Tear down a few
I think
houses.
that'd be a cool, like, you have a house back there, you got a dog kicking it.
All right, we're just gonna have to tear down a few houses back here. You guys won't have to mind. Yeah, that would be cool. I was trying to think like they might have to do it in a place that isn't necessarily. The problem is the reason this was such a success was it had the movie to go with the place to play. Like there'd be some cool places to put a field. Like Lake Tahoe would be pretty awesome. Like if you put it out there, something like that, build a stadium.
Those balls would be flying.
Yeah, there's some like people have mentioned like the Grand Canyon. Like you could build some stadiums and some probably like cool places, but if it'd be hard to do it with a movie as the background type of deal. So I kind of just put like Lake Tahoe would be like to be the best spot to put it like locally. Like if you could put something near there, that would be awesome. You're right, balls would be absolutely murdered over there as well. Or like do it like in a random state like Montana, like doesn't have a team. You know, something like
Montana.
That. Like in a state that doesn't have a team, like Iowa or Nebraska, like I know, like maybe do
Some
another
Midwest team.
Yeah, just in random states like that. Arkansas, doing their Bill Clinton's backyard or something. Back there, he's got enough acres probably to build a field. So I found that interesting this week with baseball. I thought it was a big success. Everybody says that. The no-hitter yesterday. People might not know this, but there's a no-hitter thrown yesterday. The reason I'm bringing it up is because it was the guy's first major league start, and he's not even like a big prospect or anything like that. He was a Rule 5 pick. I watched some of the highlights. He got lucky with a few hits, but you always got to get a little lucky with some no-hitters. He only allowed one walk, so he basically, that's how good he was yesterday. He was the fourth guy to ever do it. The first one since Bobo Holberson in 1953, and then two guys did it.
Bobo, I remember Bobo.
Of course you do. Your grandfather talked about it. To me, that's just like one of those stats to me that are crazy though, because that tells you that Tyler, like 70 years later, and then it had to happen for another 50 years. Like, how the hell is this guy going to top that thing? Perfect game.
He might be out of the league after this season. Like, his stuff didn't look great from what when I looked at the highlights. I was like, I don't know why. I don't know. He was going like 89, 90. Just wasn't
kind of random though. I don't know. I just find the stat crazy. That only 3 other.
It's insane. Anything anything happens 70 years apart for the first time, it's like,
Is there a random player you can think of that threw a no-hitter?
That guy on Humbert on the White Sox. He almost threw
actually a perfect game.
Phil Humbert or whatever.
He actually threw a perfect game. That's even crazier right there. The crazy one no-hitter is Bud Smith from the Cardinals. That's always the guy. I guess the Padres. Good old Bud Smith, that guy. To me, that's a little random no-hitter from a guy that nobody will ever remember in the history of Major League Baseball.
Kenny Rogers threw a couple.
He threw a couple. Edwin Jackson, I remember, threw like 158 pitches or something crazy like that.
Like 6 walks.
Something like that. So there was a couple other things there. And then the other one that was an interesting stat ring was Colton Burns struck out 10 guys in a row, just when Nola had done it like 2 months before that. And then before that, it had happen for 50 years. So that's kind of crazy that, strikeouts are up a little bit when it happened 2 times in 2 months, maybe. We'll see if it happens. You know what I mean? That's just kind of a little fishy there, but that Burns is unreal. If nobody's ever watched baseball, maybe there's people on this podcast that have probably never watched any Brewers baseball. Do yourself a favor. When he pitches, he's pretty awesome to watch.
He's good.
He's really good. He's exciting.
I think he's putting something in his hair because he's always reaching with his right hand and like reaching around and like looks a little suspicious.
Did you see the catch that Chapman made yesterday on the A's?
No.
He literally went behind.
Oh, the Willie Mays one?
Yeah, but it was even maybe better in the sense of just diving out, and he had to kind of swipe his hand kind of there, but not the distance that Mays had to run. I thought it was funny because the Rangers were honoring Adrian Beltre yesterday, putting him in his Hall of Fame, and then he makes a play like that. Beltre is one of those players that my kids will never ever think of. He's I always say I'm interested by players that my kids probably just won't remember or won't even be introduced to. And he's probably one of those guys, unfortunately, but he's probably a Hall of Famer. He was really good, especially with the Rangers.
in the Dodgers that one year?
As the Mariners, no, but we could leave. But if we had Adam on here, I'm sure he would say Beltre was probably one of his favorite Rangers without a doubt. Maybe his favorite, I think.
Him and Robinson Cano made defense look so effortless.
Yeah, they were
like
besides
the way
Omar.
they did it. Well, Omar was better, but he still didn't have like a rocket arm that he could bail himself out of like situations. He had to be like he had to be quick and get rid of the ball quick, and he had great hands. But it wasn't just like the way the Cano and Belichick could just throw like little under their knee almost from third or second.
Yeah, no, they were unreal. So I thought I had to point out a little love for Beltre there. And I always like his follow through falling on the knee. That was also a good little thing.
Don't touch the top of his head.
No, A's and Giants still playing. A's are actually hot right now. Won 8 out of 9, so they're playing well. Marte's been unreal since the pickup.
And he's making a lot of money for himself.
Yes, he is. He's making a ton of money. Like I said, it was worth the risk for that reason. Yeah, he's very. He hasn't been paid yet, so it's a chance for him. He'll probably end up on the Yankees. They need a right field bat. That seems like a good Giant.
Right fielded hitter.
But the Giants probably wouldn't go for somebody like him.
No, I don't think they're
a little
like their platoons.
Yeah, they like their little platoons there. Stay under the market, under the radar there. Giants lose rarely to the Rockies somehow yesterday, so that was shocking for me. And then the big question for me is, have you given up on fantasy baseball?
Not have I given up? I'm not making the playoffs, and that's what you mean.
They were really complaining. I felt like they were saying that you weren't even trying anymore. I was like, I think he's still trying.
They were talking. I never saw those messages.
Yeah, they were just like, yeah. So I thought it was interesting.
I'm not really trying. What do you mean?
Like they're not playing your guys. You're not.
Well, I'm playing all my guys.
They didn't think that was the case. Thought maybe you were quitting on there. And then they said your dad.
Crybabies. These
they're like we just gave Billy Bean a really hard, or this guy a really hard time about not participating in the league. Should your dad's team, like shouldn't Tyler's dad's team be more into it this year? I was like, he's won a 2 champion. You shut your mouth. I was like, he can do whatever he wants. That's what I said. So, Greg, I got your back. Yeah. All right, last thing before you get out of here, I had to go, unless you got something baseball wise.
No, I'm done with baseball.
All right, I just have to get real quick at this on the Warriors and just basketball in general. Summer League, how do we evaluate that? Kuminga looks unreal. Green from the Rockets looks like the best player in the draft, possibly. Cunningham looks solid for sure. Suggs looks solid, but not maybe exactly kind of what I thought he was going to be, or potential to be anyways. Not a great player, but a fit for somebody. What do you think? What do you think of Summer League?
I don't think it really matters, but I think if you struggle in Summer League, it might be an indicator because you're playing against such bad talent.
Yeah.
But if you're dominating, I'm not like, oh, this guy's the next guy or this guy. I think Green's good. I think Cunningham's good. Kuminga has made some passes I didn't know he had in his bag.
But that's my point. Like the Summer League, like when you're watching, are you like that's like what do you look like? Do you feel like it can translate like some of the stuff like I remember Lonzo, like he played really well, I thought, in Summer League. Remember he played pretty well a few years ago and he kind of got hyped up in it. He was hyped before and then he played well in that a little bit. There's a few other players that come to mind. I just kind of curious, like, does that actually translate to the league? Yeah.
Flat out no, if we're going to does it matter? Really, not really. But I think it shows something like Moody, I know can shoot now.
Yeah.
At least the weight. And Kuminga, I want to get to that female announcer, Renee Montgomery. I want her to do all the games. Most lady announcers are boring, and this lady was fired up. She was
not too overhyped.
She was a WNBA player, so she got basketball. And
she was good.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, she was like the Gus Johnson of the Summer League there. She was pretty good at it, especially on Kuminga's dunk there. I just think there's certain things that you can evaluate, like maybe certain moves. Like if they make like a patented move, you can kind of see that stuff. Maybe you can see like some hustle parts, like the like the guy on the Kings, like you could see that's going to translate pretty obviously to the next level, like the effort wise.
Yeah, but if he's actually guarding a guy with handle, is it going to translate as much? I don't know. He's guarding some guy who's not going to play in him.
Possessions he was guarding like the sixth or the guy from Connecticut that was drafted. So he was guarding a legit guy on some of those defensive possessions, or supposed to be a legit guy anyway.
Yeah, we don't even know if that guy's legit.
But usually his effort, is going to translate. Kind of the Precious guy.
He'll play hard. Look what did Precious do last year? He didn't do anything.
Well, his effort was what. Yeah, but I mean, there's certain aspects that you can see grow better and better, like as he has his fourth year. But you can't see if they're going to be a star usually in that stuff. I do remember Klay Thompson dominating. They had to play like 2 games in Summer League his second year, and he was like 7 for 9 both first halves, and they ended up not playing him anymore.
Who, Klay?
Yeah, like, that's enough. We don't need to see it anymore. So, anyway, I know a little longer podcast this week, but there wasn't a lot early, but there was kind of a lot. So, and I know we kind of started off with the comedic topics, stuff like that. But good podcast this week. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Tyler,
thanks for hosting again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back in the hot seat here. I'm glad you did it last week. Thank you for doing that as well, because I needed a week off of not even like doing it. I just wanted to show up, talk, or anything, and you covered all that stuff, so it worked out well. We're kind of back to our normal kind of routine here of doing things. So NFL starting up, my man. We're going to start hitting that basically every week from this point on. NBA probably is in the back seat here for a little bit unless something comes up. And of course, we'll probably start hitting on the MLB a little bit as well. Be sure to tune into some other good podcasts, House of Hoops. Enjoyed them. They had a good podcast out this week. I don't know sports. He won't have one out this week. I guess P Shark is getting married. So congratulations to him. He's got a good podcast too.
Congratulations.
And then Tyler, me and you, we kind of say it once in a while, but I know once in a while you kind of maybe want to start doing the weekday ones a little bit here and there. So we might mess around with stuff like that. So just keep a lookout for those for sure. So, and next week, I think we might have Montanez on, right? Is it next week maybe?
Yeah, 2 Bryans on next week maybe.
Yeah, so we might have Montanez on next week. We'll get into him, get his take on a few things as well. So thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next week.